For the last problem here, this is an input-output problem where they're already giving you values of x and we need to calculate the values of y. The most common mistake that individuals are still making is that when they ask you to input a value for x, you need to write it with parentheses first and then plug in the value for x. If you write it this way, where you don't put in the parentheses, what's going to happen is your calculator is not going to give you the correct value because this negative that's inside of the parentheses here in pink is supposed to be included with the exponent. When you write it this way, what happens is this 4 that's in the exponent position is only going to affect the 3 and then the negative sign is attached to it. So if you are doing it this way in the highlighted green box that I'm drawing, please make sure that you make a mental note to not do it that way, and instead you want to follow the route of putting the parentheses first. So showing what that looks like and grabbing the rest of this on my calculator here, I get that for the first answer I get 78. So I'm going to put 78 right here, and then if I go to the next one, I'm going to get parentheses to the 4th minus 3, and I'm now plugging in a negative 2. So if I go back into my calculations and put in negative 2 instead of the negative 3, I now get that that is 13. So I'm going to come over here, grab my red pen, and put 13. Now I need to do it for negative 1. So if I write down what it should look like first, again, we're going to write it with parentheses first, x to the 4th minus 3, plugging in negative 1. On our calculator, doing a negative 1, I get that that is negative 2. So I put negative 2. And then if I go equals x to the 4th minus 3, and I'm going to plug in 0 this time, well, 0 times 0 times 0, this is just going to be 0 minus 3. So 0 minus 3 is going to be negative 3. So I can just put negative 3 right here. And then when I take a look at the next one, I get to the 4th minus 3. And this time it's a little bit easier because now 1 times 1 times 1 times, that's going to be 1 minus 3. That's going to give me a negative 2. And I'm starting to notice that this has an interesting pattern. I see negative 2 and negative 2. I'm going to make a hypothesis that the next number is going to come out to be 13. So if I do x to the 4th minus 3, and I'm plugging in a 2 this time, well, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So I can say that this is really going to be 16 minus 3, and 16 minus 3 is 13. So I was right. My hypothesis was correct. So it would be 13. So this is going to start mirroring the numbers. So if the table kept going, the next number would have been 78.